I know that you've all been prepared for this, but I thought I'd just remind you just the same.
Can you handle that, Blondie?
Game over, man. Game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
It was pure evil.
I want to buy some radio ad time.
And we're back for another episode of The Invasion of the Potty Snatchers. I'm your host, Vincent Green. Let's get to it. Alright, so you notice from the introduction there's no Noel-John here today. I'm flying solo, or am I? No, I'm not. Hey, Boyce. That's Ger Boyce in his first appearance on the Potty Snatchers. I brought you in, late substitute, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Boyce, how's your balls?
Yeah, not so bad, man. Crack.
I'm dying here. I'm fucking dying here, man.
Sure, we're all dying, man.
It's like, did you ever see Reservoir Dogs? Like, I'm okay.
What's that movie where it's just like, fucking dying over here, man?
Yeah, that's right.
Scream.
No.
That was it.
Oh, yeah. That's Randy, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little woozy here. Fucking love that movie. But what you call it? So basically, I called you in late substitute, and we just kind of came through this together last minute, and we decided to go with holy fuck! Right, I just realized this got a 7.3 on IMDb.
Yeah, this actually got a pretty alright fucking rating. Bar Metacritic, this actually did pretty okay.
So the reason we have so much surprise is the movie we decided to look at this week is the John Carpenter 1988 movie starring Roddy Piper. Yeah, I said that right. And Keith David. It's called They Live. A movie about a drifter or wanderer that comes across these sunglasses that allows them to see interdimensional beings that live amongst us in secret. And I'm not even making that up. What do you think, Boyce?
Oh, this was a masterpiece of the highest order. I can only liken it to Citizen Kane for its social commentary and just unbelievable delivery of artistic performance.
Man, I actually...
I hope I didn't oversell it.
Man, I think you may have undersold it. But I actually only realised, like, within the first 5 minutes of this movie that I'd never seen it before. I thought I'd seen it at least once, because I'm a huge John Carpenter fan. And as soon as I seen Roddy Piper dressed as John Rambo walking across those train tracks, I knew I'd never seen this before.
Yeah, I actually must say I didn't. I can't even say I've heard of it before, and I know of like John Carpenter stuff from like the 80s to 90s, the golden era of John Carpenter.
Yeah, was it though? Yeah, it was. It wasn't.
I'm sure it had its moments. Okay, it's memorable enough for me to go maybe, but yeah, holy shit. I was not expecting it to be what it was. Based on the synopsis anyway, I was definitely not expecting it to be what it was. Because they definitely lied. It's far more of a comedy than I would like give as a sci-fi supernatural thriller.
I thought it was going to be a horror. Like it felt nearly like an episode of The Outer Limits or something.
Yeah.
But like it, I just don't know. It just kind of lacked when you look at John Carpenter's movies, it lacked that same kind of suspense, the subtlety. You know what I mean? Like, I just think the amount of cocaine he was probably ingesting at this stage in his career, allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Wah, wah, wah. You've heard the allegedly siren people.
I thought it kind of felt like to me, right? When I was watching it, it was kind of like they were building slowly and slowly and slowly.
Where'd they go?
No, bear with me for a second. It was kind of building slowly and slowly. They were kind of like introducing the characters. Right around the 20-minute mark, then they kind of introduced it to like, you know, the plot.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like trottles along with mayhem.
Yeah.
Like over like what must be in the movie time frame is like a couple of hours. But this is all dealt with over 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you realize, holy shit, this has been on for like an hour and 10 minutes or an hour and 5 minutes. You're just like, what the fuck are they building for?
Yeah.
Like, we've obviously seen what happened here, but how the fuck are they going to conclude this in 25 minutes?
That's exactly what I thought.
And then like, you're kind of like, this is probably the part where the cocaine really upped the ante, and you're just like, shit, we've got an hour long of a movie.
Yeah.
We need a kick-ass ending right now. What do we do?
Yeah, they had like 60 pages of the script written before they started and had no idea how to end it.
But, kudos to John Carpenter for like kind of tying it all together, because you've got the incredibly well, bear with me. You have the incredibly shitty acting of Roddy Piper, who goes from,
Rest in
stern, thoughtful, to like batshit insane in like, the drop of a hat. And then back to kind of like, I don't know. Sorry, to go back to my point. He had to deal with that. Then the nonsense of everything else that was going around.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But I don't know. It's like, it's definitely not the worst John Carpenter movie I've ever seen. It's up there, but it's...
Is it not?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, this is obviously early John Carpenter. And I mean...
No, this is late John Carpenter. This is like 1988.
Is it?
This is 10 years past Halloween, 6 years past the thing. This
Holy
is when
shit,
he was on his downward slide.
Was the thing in the 80s? I thought that was the 90s.
No, the thing was 1982. It was a remake of the Howard Hawks movie from 1951 or something like that. 1950s, anyway.
Man, that's hilarious. Because I was just like, holy shit, is this John Carpenter's like first like step into sci-fi before the thing? And I was just like, oh my god, it obviously gets so much better, but holy shit, it got so much worse after.
Yeah, that's literally the problem with John Carpenter. Like, he just lost his mojo, and he either never got it back or just they never trust him enough to let him get a chance to get it back. If you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, you can't argue with results, because like the budget for that movie was $3 million, and like they got like 12 or 13 back at the box office. Like, so that's like, that's over 4 times what they fucking invested in it. So
it seems extremely highly thought of.
I mean, when you get to the end, you're just kind of like, this is obviously very, very on the nose, the message you're trying to deliver here. Yeah. And you're kind of like, is it almost, what I kind of thought when I was watching it? That really shitty Mark Wahlberg movie, The Mist?
No, The Happening.
Oh, The Happening, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, where you're kind of just like, is this a serious movie? They're kind of acting like it's a parody, but is it though? Like, that's what I kind of felt like with this.
Spoiler alert, it's the trees. Ooh, what a twist.
Yeah. Those bastards. And like, they knew it was.
So this movie was based on the short, I've never read it, called 8 O'Clock in the Morning by Ray Nelson. And I definitely wanted to try to get my hands on it, because I feel like with the premise of the movie, it actually could be a cool film done right, maybe. But like, so we'll just kind of get into the start of the movie, right? The first 15-20 minutes of the movie, you said it was a slow burn. It's pretty much a walking tour of Los Angeles with Roddy Piper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so down on his luck. You know what I mean? But
as well, what I thought was just, out of the number of things that I picked out of this movie, what I just thought was fucking crazy was how there was a shanty town within Los Angeles. Now, I know there's homeless and whatnot, and like that shit doesn't exist.
There literally is a shanty town called Skid Row.
Skid Row. No, I know that. I do know that. But just how like, it was totally acceptable to have this kind of like town with like workers that are kind of off the books.
They're the cleanest homeless people of all time.
Yeah. Keith David. Oh, if you want, I know a place where they serve hot food, you get a shower. It's like, okay, it's a dirt patch in a trailer park with a hose.
He totally oversold that place though, didn't he? Like,
I was kind of like, are they going to go to a hostel or something like that?
Like a halfway house or something, like, at least. Like a place that actually has walls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but, holy fucking hell. What a start as well. Like, you're kind of introduced to all these like zany characters, and you're just like, what's going on here? Like,
like pretty much the first 15 minutes of the movie is just Roddy Piper walking around and no backstory explained. Like, I guess he's ex-military or something. I don't know. Like, you call him, like, what you say, he's like a second-rate Mel Gibson.
Oh my gosh. This is what I wanted to say. I feel like there was a missed opportunity with like Roddy Piper and Keith David as an off-brand Lethal Weapon movie. They didn't even have to parody Lethal Weapon. They could have just done it as like a really over-the-top buddy action movie.
Should have just called it Day Lethal. Day Lethal.
Oh my god. That was all I was thinking. When I saw that mullet, I was just like, that's Martin Riggs. That is Martin Riggs on steroids. Then Keith David, young Danny Glover. Just perfect.
He's like John Rambo with the subtlety of Martin Riggs.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That is a does sum it up very nicely.
Yeah. So like pretty much he goes around LA. He meets all these like misfit characters and shit. As you said, he meets Keith David. Like he meets him on a construction site. He gets work because it's that easy to join a union. This is a union job. Let me talk to the shop steward. He'd be like, "No, dude, you have to pay dues. Like, you know, what I mean? To join a union or to be a part of any of these shit, don't you have to pay dues up front before you can join?"
Oh, it's something like that. Yeah, like you have to be a fucking member of something, whatever way that fucking shit works over in America. But yeah, who knew it was so easy to get a job?
And like, I love the way though. At like the end of the first day, he goes, "When do I get paid?"
Yeah.
At the end of the week, like everybody else, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck is this guy? Fucking hell.
It is kind of like funny that like within like a minute or two of like, oh yeah, we have work for you here, but you know it's all union, and then it just cuts to a shirtless Rod hitting something with a hammer, and then like Keith David. This is the first introduction we get to Keith David, where it's almost like he's checking him out.
Yeah,
Is this going to be like a gay romance, you know, subtly held within the sci-fi alien movie? But
he wanted to show Riggs his lethal weapon.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, no, I like literally, that's the first thing I thought. Like as soon as Keith David seen him shirtless, and he was like, "Hey, I got a place we can go back to. It's got showers." You know what I mean? Like that's the first thing he thinks. Like and he sticks to him like glue after that. Like you know what I mean? And he's like, he just can't quit him as well.
Yeah.
I just can't quit you. But yeah, so like. So Keith David brings him back to this like homeless place, and we see across the way there's like, I know it's actually they're in amongst the encampment. That's like this like kind of like church, or it's like they're like a missionary or some bullshit, and they're like a soup kitchen. That's the fucking term I was looking for. And they're just like serving food, and Roddy Piper gets like 2 helpings of peas and doesn't even say thank you. What a prick!
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like she goes to him, do you want more? And he's like, yeah. Like he's like, of course I want more, bitch. I'm Roddy Piper.
And you know what I think is hilarious as well is that like Roddy Piper is obviously, you know, he was still wrestling in the 80s, wasn't he?
Of
so
course.
like he's still like built like a fucking brick shit house. And
I never knew he was that well built ever.
Yeah. And then you're just kind of like he's standing there, he's like, yeah, I'll have more. And then there's some scrawny homeless guy trying to fucking get the plate in around him. It's like, it's my turn, motherfucker.
Yeah. Like Roddy Piper looks like he's been eating 3 square meals every day for his entire life.
Yeah.
You got a guy behind him that probably hasn't eaten in a week, and Roddy Piper's getting second helpings of green peas. Selfish prick. Rest in peace.
Yeah. I had to check after the movie was over because I forgot he had died, and I was just like, God, I know I was joking, but do you think there's ever a chance of that actually happening? Keith David and like Roddy Piper, and then you know, Google once again shattered my dreams.
What, you were hoping for a sequel?
No, I was hoping for a Buddy Cop spin-off, but you know, it probably wouldn't have been as epic because you know they would have been 60, 70.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like Lethal Weapon 4 wasn't anywhere near as epic, and they were only like 50 or that.
Yeah, but
that was a long time ago.
They acknowledged the fact that they were in fact too old for this shit.
Yeah, Jet Li kicks the fuck out of 2 of them.
Yeah, and you know, like, because you remember the second and third one? Well, no, the second one's not really, because like Martin Riggs got fucked up at the end of the second one.
The second one's the South African one, is it?
Yeah, no, to be fair, he's pretty fucked up at the end of all of them.
Oh yeah, he is.
Because I was just going to say, like, you know, in the fourth one, he looked proper fucked up, and I'm thinking back, no, he was like at the end of every movie, he was like proper fucked up. Like Bruce McLean, like he looked like he had fought terrorists.
Yeah, you mean John McClane?
No, I'm going to stick with Bruce McLean. Just going to point out now, okay, so we save ourselves a lot of time with corrections. I will get names wrong. I will misquote a movie. Deal with it.
Yeah, it's literally what we do here every week in Body Snatchers. We will get names wrong, passionately defend them, and never check Google.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, oh man, there's so many times you listen back to shit and you know you've made mistakes and there's no way of correcting them.
It's out in the ether now, man.
Yeah.
So where did we leave off? So they've established their kind of bromance.
Yeah, sexual chocolate.
Yeah,
David.
So then we cut to the scene at nighttime where, like, you know, there's TV on, you know, as there would be in a homeless encampment. And like we get our first introduction, or is it our second introduction
to the soup kitchen?
To the soup kitchen and crazy black guy priest.
The blind guy.
Yes.
Yeah, like because Yeah, because the soup kitchen people that run the soup kitchen have a church or a missionary or whatever across the street, isn't it, from the homeless encampment?
That's right. Yeah.
And like they're having a nighttime sermon or some shit, isn't it? And Roddy Piper, does Keith David go as well? Does Keith David bring him, or is it just your man invites him? I think the guy invites him, the really greasy, the slickest looking, most child molester and looking priest that you can allegedly. Meh, meh, meh. You have heard the allegedly siren. Ring 1-800 for prizes.
So he allegedly molested, he allegedly.
Yeah,
we're going down this. Like, did he do it? Did he?
Yeah,
it looks like he might have.
So he fed gallons of his soup to the homeless people of Los Angeles. Like on a daily basis, he was just feeding bowls and bowls of his soup to all the homeless people until they were like nom 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 until they had their fill. You know what I mean? Like, because he's a good guy. You know what I mean? Everybody knows the Catholic Church has nothing but good people in it. You know what I mean?
It's like a safe place that once they're introduced in the movie, it's established this is a safe place. We're the church. We can do no wrong. Come to us for sanctuary.
Yeah. Yeah. So pretty much. So the Catholic Church, as we've clarified, are, you know what I mean, are a safe haven for the downtrodden. And Roddy Piper, and I think does Keith David go with him? I think, or whatever. Roddy Piper ends up with this nighttime sermon, and we get introduced to like pretty much the message they're trying to put out into the world or some bullshit. Actually, wait, when you mentioned earlier on before we go to the sermon, you mentioned that they're watching the TV. That's where they see the signal, the transmission of the hackers for the first time.
I think this is where, Nada, aka Roddy Piper.
He's just going to be Roddy Piper.
Yeah. So this is where he gets his first inkling that, hey, wait a minute, something's not right.
Yeah.
Seemingly harmless glitch in this broadcasting, something's not right. Yeah. And we've also got this rambling priest across the road that seems to be mimicking everything your man is saying. I just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like he goes from like, kind of slightly, not really caring to like head first deep, holy shit, something's going on. I'm going to find out what the fuck this is.
Yeah, like it's literally his first night in this area, right? And he sees someone going into the church late at night and he thinks it's suspicious. This could happen every single night that he's never been there.
Yeah.
Immediately he goes to a homeless dude and gets like state-of-the-art binoculars from him.
Yeah.
Where'd this guy get his binoculars from? Where'd you get your knocks from, dude? Where'd you get your knocks from?
And then, what can only be described as, organized chaos. We get like people evacuating from like the church. So sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself here.
Yeah.
So we've established that he suspects something.
Yeah.
So now he has obtained his binoculars from said homeless man.
Yeah, state-of-the-art.
Seemingly, he just has them. Like, I don't know. Never questions it. Your man also as well. Your man just gives him up without a fight. I mean, like this big brawly fucking guy comes over. Is like, hey man, can I have those? They look like they're worth something. Can I have them?
Well, he's the Pied Piper man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't say no to him.
So this all happens, and then he goes on a crazy rant or a crazy, montage of stalking out this church.
Yeah.
Keith David intervenes at some point, who, in my eyes, completely overreacted when he just saw him like staking out the church. Is like, did that really warrant that kind of a reaction?
Yeah.
Stay out of it, man. Don't get involved in this kind of shit.
I've got wife and kids back home. I got this job. I can't lose it. Like,
so
the whole way through it, like he reminds everybody about his wife and kids.
That's because he's got something to lose.
Yeah.
This is how we've established he is an expendable character, because he will give our main character, who has no personality, something to claw for.
Yeah, poor Roddy Piper. But rest in peace. But so like he's scoping out this church and he's suspicious, and like the way the story is starting to build now is that it's starting to make it seem like the people that were responsible for the transmission on TV, the people that were responsible for running the church, are going to be the villains of the piece. And that's the way it kind of builds slowly at the start. And then he's scoping out, as you said, Keith David tried to stop him. But like, I think it's like a couple of nights after he starts scoping out, he's scoping out one night. And then, as you said earlier, chaos starts happening. And like the police come in with like blitzkrieg tactics pretty much and wipe out everybody.
I just want to point out, at this point in the movie, I was reminded of that, like, episode of It's Always Sunny, where like they're arguing over like, movies are too subtle now, that they should be over-explained. And like, cut to scene, cop car comes in, or no, SWAT van with scientific investigation unit on the back. It's like, okay, I didn't even know that was a thing. So I mean, straight away on the nose, sci-fi.
It should have just said like secret governmental agency on the side of the van.
Secret agents, don't look.
Yeah.
We're serious. Don't look over here.
Nothing to see here.
And then we're greeted by the chaos. And like, one of the standout parts of that scene for me was when you have the cops in riot gear, they're in formation, they're walking with their plastic shields, and then you just have random extras kind of like almost throwing themselves at them and then falling over.
No, man, like that's how they protest nowadays as well. Allegedly. Can't sue this motherfucker.
Allegedly.
But yeah, so like they're bulldozing the homeless encampment. They're like clearing out everybody. They're raiding the church across the street, and Roddy Piper's trying to escape. Well, he's kind of pretty much walking around the chaos and just like watching it, and we're just like seeing the movie through his eyes and like through the eyes of his magnificent mullet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like
that was some mullet, to be fair.
Incredible. Like
it rivaled Kurt Russell's.
Well, watch your mouth, man. Let's just not say stuff you can't take back.
Hey,
you know what I'm
man,
saying?
all I'm gonna say was that there was not a hair out of place in that fucking mullet.
All
throughout that entire movie.
Let this be clear. Let this be clear that we over here, the Potty Snatchers, do not share Ger Boyce's opinion about mullets and the quality of Kurt Russell's mullet in comparison to Roddy Piper. Right? That all his opinions are his and his own. Fucking motherfucker. This guy, huh?
Spoken like the words of a jealous man. Not sport his own mullet and is in envy of anyone.
If only. I barely sport strands of hair at this moment, let alone a mullet. Jesus Christ. The only way I'd get a mullet is if I ordered one off the internet.
Hey, man, times are changing. Acceptable. You don't know this.
No. He'd never be a wig guy. Could never be a wig guy. Ugh. But like, yeah, so Roddy Piper watches on as the mayhem unfolds, and like he pretty much sees the cops like, walking down at the homeless people as they throw themselves meekly at them and shit. And then he like sees this kid, like he sees people being dragged out into the street or something, and he goes to hide, and he sees this kid and hiding, and like he takes this kid and creates a new family for him in a couple of minutes. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do you notice when he's fleeing with the kid, he sees the cops coming from the left, I think, and then he goes to flee down the alleyway when there's clearly stairs to the left, which is where you'd go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? Like, and he runs down the alleyway, and like a squadron of police come after him, and they immediately abandon the search. Like, so he just walks upstairs, climbs in the window of this, like, it looks like a crack house or something, a crack den or some shit like that, is where what looks immaculately clean for a crack den, except for the boards on the window.
Yeah.
And then he gets this kid that he just rescued from outside and just like gives him to this family.
I have a couple of points about this particular scene.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the actor playing the child looks like he's in his late 20s. So that's the first thing, right? He doesn't look like
ages people, man.
He doesn't look like a helpless little teenager. He looks like, almost like a middle-aged man who shaved.
Yeah.
Secondly, Roddy Piper has his arm around him the entire time in one of like the rapiest kind of ways. Like, because like he's got his arm around him, but he's also holding his shoulder.
Yeah.
He's just like, I've got you. You're going nowhere.
I'm helping you, little boy.
And then, like you said, just like, we're introduced to like, I don't know, token black crackhead. This is like, welcome to paradise. And then, like you said, he just offloads him to like just a random family, who then that guy also cradles him and pulls him in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that though. He just goes, go with them.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, cool. And the dude's probably like, oh, cool. Like, I guess a middle-aged son I've got now or something. I guess this 42-year-old guy's my responsibility now or something.
Oh, man. Holy shit. I just like realized we totally glossed over the scene prior to like the destruction of the fucking encampment, where Roddy Piper actually goes into the church, finds an assortment of chemicals and sunglasses, and then finds a secret compartment in the wall, and then gets accosted by the blind priest who wants to touch his face and his hands.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the more rapiest of John Carpenter's movies.
Yeah, like there's just no, like why is there just such like an intensity of like, come here to me, my hands need to feel you. I can see you, but I'm not experiencing you. Come here to me.
So like as you touched on there, so like he kind of gets the idea that there's this like underground conspiracy going on with this church group, and like one of their thing is like they're talking about selling sunglasses or some shit, like counterfeit sunglasses. Is that what they were talking about?
Oh, some shit
Like,
like that, yeah.
Yeah. So like because we don't even realize this how much of a clever storyteller John Carpenter is. These sunglasses play a huge part in this movie, right? Which makes sense later, right? So when Kurt Russell, damn you, Boise.
Seeds have been sown.
This movie would have been so much fucking better with Kurt Russell in it. I'm just gonna put that out there. But like the 3 million probably doesn't get him out of bed in the morning. Like the coffee's fucking a magnificent mullet.
Yeah, he cut that off for 15 million. Soldier.
You know, this guy doesn't fuck around. You know what I mean? But like he saw Roddy Piper watches on in the mayhem, and then he sneaks back into the building, if I'm not mistaken, into the church, and he grabs a box and runs away with it, and he goes into the back alley, and he like opens it up, and it's filled with sunglasses, and he takes a pair and stashes the rest of them underneath rubbish in a like a garbage can in an alleyway. Like that's a genius place to leave anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like the place is filled with homeless people.
Yeah.
That are like, you know, literally down under luck to the nth degree. I'm gonna stash this thing I believe might be valuable in the garbage cans they more than likely rummage through on a day-to-day basis.
I'd also like to take this moment to pause and reflect on what's about to happen in this movie. So we've obviously had the very fucking long-winded intro into this.
Yeah.
He's found the sunglasses, he's stashed them, he's taken his own.
Yeah.
Let's pause here for a second to appreciate what's going to happen over the course of the next half hour, which is amazing. Just amazing. And what I'd like to point out as well is that, so he obviously had his suspicions. He puts his sunglasses on, and then it goes from 0 to fucking 1,000.
Yeah.
He just, this is obviously real. I'm going to dive head first. So I'll let you take it up from here where you narrate the next part. Yeah. We're about to take a journey.
So as what Boyce was touching on there is like that Roddy Piper he stashes the leftover sunglasses, takes one of the pairs, and he's walking down, like rounds a corner, he's walking down along a sidewalk, busy sidewalk in LA or whatever the fuck. And he decides, you know, like he's walking around with the sunglasses, decides to pop them on, you know, free sunglasses, who wouldn't? And you got to protect them baby blues, you know what I'm saying? But and immediately, like, he looks through the sunglasses, and like we get Piper vision, you know what I mean? Like,
Excellent.
Yeah. First person Piper vision, and immediately he sees something like weird about these glasses. That is like everything looks like it's different, black and white. He looks at the pavement, he takes them off, he looks back at it again, he sees it's in like a black and white kind of like view or whatever. And then he looks to a billboard, I think, next. And on the billboard, it's written in massive writing that says obey. And then he pulls the glasses off, and it's like a normal advertisement billboard. And he puts it back on and says obey. And he does this numerous times around like the street he's walking on, where he just like literally puts the glasses on, looks through it, sees the normal version of it, sees whatever the glasses were showing to him. And he does this like bit by bit until he looks at a person, and then he sees like the fucking design of these, like, I don't know, interdimensional beings, I suppose is the only way you can really describe them, but the design is insane. Like insane. Like John Carpenter must have like put up with the visual effects dudes and just like snorts a line like Leskin.
So like I'm thinking latex. I want to pull it back, and I want your eyes to pop.
I want to see everything. What do you mean, like nude? No, everything. I'm talking muscle. I want to see sinews. Like, you know what I mean? But so he's looking around. He sees his first. He's like at a newsstand, and he sees this fucking dude. He's like a businessman or whatever. And first he looks at a magazine, and he sees the magazine says all this weird shit instead of what like it looks like without the glasses. And we said a second ago, he sees his first interdimensional being, and the guy's like getting super hardy with him. Like if Roddy Piper's staring at me, I'd be like, I'm sure he has a good reason. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and that guy as well. He was like, I know, obviously he was an alien, but you know, the human skin. He's an old, frail dude, and he got Roddy Piper probably in his prime,
in his prime.
and he's just like, he's like super aggro.
yeah,
like I
like,
know
at his most Piper.
And you know what's mad as well is that like, because obviously he's just figuring out what the fuck's going on, and he's got that look of like, you know, just like after being punched in the face, it's like, fuck, that happened. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and I mean, you know, because obviously this is before we get to see the explosive rage that he can like showcase.
Well, they don't call him Rowdy for nothing.
But I mean, I don't know, like fucking hell. But and I mean, obviously we know what happens, like when the crazy really comes out. But I feel like that alien got a very lucky near miss there. And then there was like a couple of other, like, because this obviously leads away, like to where he, you know, kind of explores more of this.
Yeah.
And like, he goes into that store, and then obviously there's more and more of these characters, and like
it goes like a convenience store or something, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're they're overtly aggressive to him, like
yeah. But like immediately they're like, we think he like because he starts kind of saying like, you know, that people are looking weird or whatever, starts alluding to it, and he's like, well, not even alluding to it. He's like, he immediately expects people to believe him. He's like, oh, they're not human or whatever, and like he's like, and you're okay, you know what I mean? Like, and he goes like pretty much ape shit in the convenience store, and they're like not subtle at all about it. They're like under watches straight away, and they're like, male Caucasian, we think he's up to something, you know what I mean? Like they're like the worst hidden. Like, how have they stayed hidden this long? Because immediately, you know what I mean? Like,
and it's hilarious as well, like, because I mean, he could just be a crazy random guy that walks into this place, but like, as soon as like he locks with them, they immediately like, you got him.
Yeah,
he's here. Yeah, everyone, like, focus in on this one guy. Talk to your wrist. Ignore everything else.
Everyone wearing the same watch.
Like, I mean, okay.
Yeah, so like Roddy Piper goes crazy here now, and then we're going to try to restrain him and shit. And we see how rowdy he really is. And he escapes here as the cops are chasing him. Isn't this where like he runs away from the convenience store and then the cops go after him? Is that right?
So it's basically, they're obviously figuring out that he knows what's going on, and they're contacting someone who we've not yet been introduced to.
Yeah.
He leaves the store after the shopkeeper fucking confronts him, whatever, who turns out to be just human, whatever.
Yeah.
Then we see him on the street, and then he turns off to an alleyway or something like that. Is that what it is, or is there like a chopper or something that he hears that freaks him? Or
yeah, like he puts the glasses on and then he hears something up above him, and it's like a drone.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. Does he have a gun at this stage? No, this is late. That's later.
No, because this is where it gets fucking awesome. So, like you were saying, he's out of the store. Something happens. He's startled, and then like we're introduced to the next scene where like he's confronted by two cops.
Yeah.
In an alleyway, and I don't know, just amazing cinematic masterpiece just that happens.
Do you know what's amazing about this movie? Like, because you touched on it earlier where you said he completely kind of goes head first into this conspiracy kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like, those could be just fun goofball glasses. You know what I mean? Like, he like literally like he goes, oh, these are obviously aliens or something, and I must kill them immediately. Like, instead of saying like if I put on a pair of glasses and they showed me something different than what I was perceiving in reality, the first thing I was like think of, oh, these must be trick sunglasses. You know what I mean? Though, like, and the first thing he thinks of is like, these sunglasses are definitely authentic.
Yeah.
I only found them in the bottom of a basement of a church or something. You know what I mean? It just got raided. I know they're sketchy, but these sunglasses are definitely authentic, to the point that I'm willing to not only, you know, assault a cop, but like disarm him, steal his weapons, and then just like get the fuck out of Dodge. Like, literally, that's how much he believes immediately in these sunglasses. Like, you know what I mean? I've never believed in anything as quickly in my life as Roddy Piper believes in these fucking sunglasses in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And like there's absolutely like there's no hesitation either. Like, I mean, once he's confronted by the cops, who we've established are also aliens in this because of the sunglasses. And like I don't know, it just kind of like it almost like looks like he realizes what's about to happen, but he kind of goes along with it.
Yeah.
And then the cops, they like they ready their holster, or they unhinge their holster, get ready for the gun.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember. Like, does he headbutt him? Like, does he pull him in, like lunge into him with a headbutt or something, or like does he just pull the gun from him as he's walking away or something?
Yeah, I can't remember. I think he beats. Does he beat? I think he beats up the 2 cops for sure, and then takes one cop's handgun, and then takes the shotgun from the patrol car.
Yeah,
And
because
then-
like he does like
He just walks down the street then, shotgun slung over his shoulder in the middle of daylight in Los Angeles,
which is crazy. And like he's just killed 2 cops. No one else is like batting an eyelid at this. Nonchalantly pulls the shotgun from the car and just like arms himself. Like, I mean, was there a point where he had like a bullet strap on, or am I imagining that?
like a bandolier.
Yeah.
No, I think it was the strap from the shotgun.
Yeah, that's probably it. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, because I think he carried the shotgun across his back for the first portion of the shotgun. I guess. The shotgun played an extremely important part in this movie.
Yeah.
But so like he gets away from the cops, and then he tries to get out of Dodge and sneak go into an underground car park. And
no, we're missing the best fucking part.
Oh, go ahead.
He randomly shows up at a bank.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
is that
he
in
goes
this
from
scene as
killing-
well? Is it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, he goes from killing 2 cops in broad daylight, arms himself to the fucking T, and like what I was expecting was like a chase scene or something, like, you know, he's going to try to get the fuck out.
Oh yeah, steal
And
the
then-
cop car or something.
Then all of a sudden he just fucking walks into a bank. And what's that line?
Which one where he's like
The bubble gum.
Oh, I was like, I come here, I come here to kick ass and chew gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum, or some shit like that. Oh man!
Like what's hilarious about all of that is that like just no one reacts to this guy who's like armed to the fucking teeth walking into a bank. Nonchalantly says this ridiculous fucking line, and then just like indiscriminately start killing people. Now, obviously, we as the audience know that he's killing aliens.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know, it just feels like a nonsensical rampage. I feel like this is where the coke was amplifying.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, yeah,
It's
man, we're going to kill these 2 cops and then we're going to like, go on this chase. He's like, I have a better idea. We need more violence now. Put me in a bank. Why a bank? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, the Piper likes banks. That's why. That's why we're going for a bank. The Piper gets what the Piper wants. You know, snorts a line.
Oh, and I mean, like, just thinking back to it now. Yeah, allegedly. But just thinking back at it now, like, there was like no reason at all, because like we've obviously established there's aliens.
Yeah.
He's killed 2 cops.
Yeah.
There was no need for the scene in the bank. Because I mean, it added nothing to the story. It pushed nothing forward other than the fact that we know he's going to like completely commit to the fact that there's aliens and start killing these people. And then we're just led to another scene where like,
Because as well, the thing is, like, before you jump on, like, do you know, if you're after killing 2 cops and you believe there's this weird conspiracy, the last thing you want to do is draw attention to yourself.
oh yeah,
Literally makes zero sense to go in and go, oh, I'm going to hole up a bank for no apparent reason. Does he take money from the bank even?
no, he goes in, looks around, sees the aliens, says that ridiculous line, kills a whole lot of people, and then like we're into the next scene.
Yeah, like so he like so he shoots up the bank, and then this is where he goes to the underground car park, is it?
Yeah.
And he does like his best impersonation of Kyle Reese, you know, in Terminator 1. So like he gets into the car with this she like got red hair,
Meg
thing.
Foster.
Megan Foster, is that her name? Megan or Meg? Meg Foster, fucking super blue eyes, like redunculous. And so he gets this one, he hijacks her car pretty much, and he says to her, thinks something like, do you have a family or something? And she says no. And he's like, all right, cool, bring me to your house. You know what I mean? Like, smooth, Roddy Piper, smooth.
And like, what's crazy as well is that this woman is obviously an actor. You know, I know they can't see my air quotations, so actor.
Air quotes.
Because I just saw there, like, I think she's in either fucking Flash Gordon or some other 80s movie. But either way, you know, to go back to the point,
we can't even attempt to sing Queen because that would cost a lot.
yeah. So, but anyway, so basically then she, like, you know, the calmest fucking hostage situation I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And she like totally willingly gives herself to Roddy Piper.
Oh man, she's like literally from get-go, she's trying to get in his pants. Like, he nearly feels uncomfortable by her.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so fucking weird because like even after he gets into the car with her, like she gets in, no bother, and like he's like, where am I going? He's like, go back to yours, no problem. Like he's dozing off in the fucking side of the car, and like it's like you were saying, there's this kind of weird intensity there. It's just like, are they going to bang, or is he going to kill her, or is she going to try kill him,
or is she going to rape him?
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean.
What's this like really weird intensity that's going on right now in the car, and like. It's never explained. It's never addressed. It's just kind of like both characters are kind of like aloof.
Yeah. And so she gets him back, or like he gets out of the car, and like her neighbor is watching on. You could clearly tell that he was holding a gun to her back. Like clearly, like he's like they've for some reason they both get out the same side of the car, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
they both get out the same door. Like if you just seen that, you'd be like, what's going on there? You know what I mean? And like so he brings her inside her gaff. And he's like, starts pretty much nearly orgasming on the ground after he takes off the sunglasses. Mm-hmm. He's like, it's like a high, but the come down's all over my pants. Oh no! And the Piper's being a bad boy. So like she's like kind of like trying to rape him, pretty much allegedly trying to play his bagpipes, and she's like. Nearly half seducing him, and he's trying to like come to terms with what the fuck's going on. And I think he starts talking to her to start making conversation. He finds out that that she works at the TV station, and then he kind of starts putting two and two together that maybe the signal that's coming over the TVs has something to do with these creatures that he's seeing, or this other world or version of the world that he's seeing through these sunglasses. And when he immediately becomes suspicious of her, she like hits him and throws him out a fucking window.
Yeah.
And
holy shit. I was not, just to touch on that bit, I was not expecting that, because it really did, up until that point, it really felt like they were just going to bang. Yeah. And that was going to be it. And then he goes over to the window, tries to display some emotion. I don't know, like if it's what's going on, am I sad? Am I angry? Direct me, John, direct me. And then she comes over and just fucking sucker punches him with a fucking glass bottle. Oh, yeah. I don't even know. Did it break, or did it just like push him out the window?
Then she like smashed him over the head with the bottle and then throw him out a window. And he felt like a bajillion feet and just like took it like a champ. Like I said to you before we start recording, I was like, he literally rolled through it like a champ. Know what I mean?
We should point out here that this was no ordinary building. This was the fourth story.
It's like of the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah, he's like, he not only fell out of a 4-story building, he fell down the side of a fucking hill. Yeah,
like all the way down. Like it's like Wile E. Coyote type.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean? Like Homer Simpson falling down the Grand Canyon. You know what I mean? Like.
Instead of like blowing to safety, Roddy Piper rolled to safety.
Yeah. He's like,
and all that was wrong with him was he had a bit of a fucking nosebleed.
That was probably like from the initial going out the window.
Yeah.
Like, so we concluded that Roddy Piper's only weakness is glass.
Yeah.
She smashed him with a glass bottle and threw him out a glass window, and that's the only thing that seemed to harm him as he rolled down like one of the longest hillsides I've ever seen. Like literally 2 minutes of this movie is Roddy Piper rolling down the hill. Can you imagine that?
It did remind me of that scene from Hot Rod where like he falls down the side of the mountain and you're just kind of like, holy shit, this is like, he should have hit the ground by now.
Yeah. And like, so he falls from a 4-story building and he rolls down the biggest hillside ever, and then he gets a bloody nose. And the next time we see Roddy Piper, he's underneath an overpass, I think it is, and he's brooding, like brooding like in the way the Piper can.
Yeah.
And like, I think, is this where he starts deciding that he needs help with his kind of quest or some shit, where he tries to get back in touch with Keith David?
Well, no, I think at this point is where...
Well, because of Wanted Man.
Well, that, and he realizes he doesn't have the glasses anymore.
Oh, shit, yeah. And he has to go back.
Well, once he kind of composes himself, then he's on like a sidewalk, and then for some reason, a fucking shop that has, I don't know, 2-3 dozen TV screens with just his photo on it.
Yeah. And he walks past,
and he just walks past and is like, oh yeah, that's fine, that's not me. And then he tries to make contact again with Keith David. So this is where we're reintroduced to Keith David.
No, he actually goes back for the glasses first.
Are you sure? Because you don't remember that part with the glasses, and then Keith David comes back.
Listen, he go back and get the glasses, and then he tries to make Keith David wear.
No. So what happens is he tracks down Keith David at the construction site, and he tries to tell him what's going on, and he's obviously having fucking none of it.
I got wife and kids, man.
Yeah, wife and kids. You know, I'm expendable. I'm not getting into this fucking shit.
Yeah.
And then we're brought to the scene then where he's in the alleyway trying to get back his stuff, and he realizes that the glasses aren't there. There's like a fucking a garbage truck just after collecting everything. And you know what's funny about that scene, right? It's when you're looking at it, you're just like, there's a box in the foreground of the screen, and you're just like, that's the box. I guarantee you the glasses are in that. And he climbs over these like mountain of shit, and then like perfectly placed, pulls out one glass, and is like, amazing.
What I want to know is, those bins aren't that big. Who puts, like, where did he get all those boxes from? The truck, the garbage truck is filled with gigantic cardboard boxes, right? And all those rubbish cans are like Oscar the Grouch cans. You know what I mean? They're like medium-sized tin cans. I'm totally reading into this too much. I'm just thinking, box to can size ratio.
Yeah.
I think there's a clear discrepancy, John Carpenter. You know, and that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that is not how sanitation is dealt with.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I've cleaned up many rubbish in my time. But yeah, so like he goes through, he hits a button on the back of the garbage truck as he sees the garbage truck driving away. And as you said, he climbs over all this rubbish, and for some reason, I'm not sure if he does it or I think the garbage truck guy's maybe having an argument with someone. It sounds like, does it? And then it sounds like they're kind of like having an argument with someone, maybe not paying for the collection or some shit. And I think that's why they dump because it starts tipping up, and I was wondering, and I think I overheard the drivers or whatever having an argument with someone that's supposed to be who they're collecting for, and they start like tipping up the fucking back of the truck. And the thing about it is, he had to open up that by pressing a button, and they never come around to check see if the door's open on the garbage truck before they start tipping it out. They just start tipping out, like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, like, I mean, there are so many inconsistencies with this like very small part of the movie. Like, even the thing opening up, like, you definitely fucking hear that. You definitely see a crazy jacked white guy with a mullet trying to get into the back of the garbage truck. I mean, you know, I know it's a movie about aliens, but come on, John Carpenter.
Interdimensional beings, I think, is it? Are they aliens? Are they?
I don't know. There's something, all right.
So, like, Roddy Piper goes through the boxes and he finds, I think, only one or maybe
one pair. Yeah.
Yeah, or is it more than one pair? Because, like, when he's going through the box, you kind of see something at the bottom of it, and because later on, I don't want to skip too far ahead, but he has one for Keith David as well. Do you remember? So I think he must have had more than one pair, because I was full sure.
No. I remember that part. There's a reason how he gets the second pair.
Oh, is there? Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll point that out when we get to it.
Cool. Because I figured that maybe he just had a second pair in his pocket or something. But like, so he gets a pair of sunglasses from the garbage truck. This is where he tries to get back in touch with Keith David again, because those star-crossed lovers need to be reunited.
And what can only be described as the most entertaining part of the movie. Well, definitely in the top 3 most entertaining parts of the movie. I kind of feel like as well when I was watching this. So like, obviously we're reintroduced to Keith David. He comes back. You know, oh, here's your pay. I could only get a week. Blah, blah, blah. And like, it's like all rationale goes out the window here. Where like, instead of like saying, hey man, try these on and tell me what you see, just real quick.
Yeah.
We are introduced to like a 5-minute battle fucking royale. And like, all I can think of here is like John Carpenter just gave up on Roddy Piper acting. He's just like, hey man, you're a wrestler. You do what you know. You wrestle. Keith, you're probably going to get fucked up here, so just give it as good as you get. And my fucking God, was that an amazing place.
Yeah, so like, so what the fuck was Keith David's character's name again?
Who even cares?
Frank, yeah. So Frank and Nada get reunited, and they have like a good old fashioned slobber knocker. They beat the shit out of each other in the back alleyway in Los Angeles, and like it's like coming to, it's like coming to a town near you, Keith David,
yeah,
versus Roddy Piper.
Like there was like 100% 2 half suplexes,
yeah,
and like there was a clothesline. No, that was earlier because Roddy Piper clotheslined the cop.
Multiple knees to the dick. Like,
Oh my god.
an unnecessary amount of knees to the dick, if you ask me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Keith David gets on top of Roddy Piper and he just wails on his dick with his knees. Like, it's ridiculous. And I've never seen such good knee form. Like he was like, papa, papa, papa. Like, it was just like, it was like a metronome, a metronome, if you will. You know?
Get out. I'll finish this podcast. Get out.
Well, I'll see you later. Damn it, 4 times this month.
I do feel like by the second knee, his testicles, they're both, they've exploded by this point. There's not a left but a crater where this man's testicles are.
Like, and it's like every knee is full force. Like, if any dude is out there being knee to the dick or to the balls, like, it will turn off your brain. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just makes contact in a way nothing else does, and it will just turn off your brain. Like, and by the 4th time, like, Keith David could have done anything to him, but like Roddy Piper just like takes the 4th knee and he just like kind of rolls him off him. And I'm pretty sure there's like another 2 or 3 minutes of a fight after this.
Oh, there is. There's a whole point where like he picks up a fucking 2x4, swings, misses, breaks a car window, and starts laughing, saying, "Oh, hey man, I didn't mean to do any of this. Excuse the headbutts and like, you know, the kicks to the face." And then Keith David pulls out this ridiculously oversized bottle that like smashes to smithereens when he tries to get a piece of fucking glass.
Yeah, you take like Roddy Piper's like, rowdy be rowdy.
Yeah.
It's what I do. Rowdy be rowdy. I'm just doing rowdy stuff. It's what I do, you know. But like, yeah, so like, do you notice the way like as well, there's about 2 or 3 times in the fight where he could have easily put the sunglasses on Keith David before he actually does. Like, you know, like he's like, nah, I'll put the sunglasses on. No, we're gonna fight for another 10 minutes, so okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so they kick the shit out of each other. He damages his car, and then like I think they fight a little bit longer again because eventually Keith David's on the ground, kind of like half incapacitated, and Rowdy Piper puts the glasses on him, and does he like help him up because he sees like a person at the end of the alleyway walking by, like just a bystander that looks down at them, and he looks at them and they're like staring at. He's like, I think he's staring at this like guy or person for a couple of seconds, isn't it? And then like they immediately they're back on the watch. You know,
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, somebody looked at me for more than 5 seconds. I think they're onto us. He's like, oh no, somebody made eye contact. They're wearing sunglasses. They're onto us.
Yeah. Like if they're that easily startled, like how the fuck? Like, how are they on this planet?
Like, how have they remained hidden for so long? Because the collateral damage would be so high. Because they freak out so quickly. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, somebody just walked past me and briefly touched on my arm and they're onto us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so this is where Roddy Piper and Keith David become like, you know, best of buddies. Like, you know,
This is where the buddy cop aspect of the movie kind of kicks off.
This is where they like to become Kmart, Murtaugh, and Riggs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where actually like they become buddies or whatever. But does Keith David get his sunglasses before they go to the B&B or the motel or whatever it is?
So if I'm remembering it correctly, which is fucking terrible to say because I only watched it a couple of hours ago, like less than 2 hours ago.
It's amazing how much you can repress of a bad movie.
Yeah,
so quickly.
but like, so if I'm remembering this correctly, what happens is Keith David is obviously introduced to the plot. He sees all this shit going on. Then they show up at this place where they're both. Oh, actually, he must have a second pair because I'm just after remembering when they show up at that fucking hotel.
Yeah,
they both have the glasses.
Yeah,
and they are fucked up. Like they are totally fucked up.
Yeah.
And then they've got glasses on. So yeah, no, you're right. There must have been a second pair.
Do you know what I love about this though, right? Because like Keith David, up until this point, believes Roddy Piper is an insane drifter that's just murdered people, held up a bank, assaulted police officers. Could be responsible for untold amount of crimes across the country. For all you know, he immediately buys into the conspiracy. Like immediately, like you'd be like, "Oh, this guy's fucked up in the head, and he's obviously got joke sunglasses, and he's lost his mind." But he's like, "No, I'm on board."
You know what? To elaborate on that a bit more, to jump back just a couple of fucking minutes.
No worries.
He showed like when like Roddy Piper confronts him at the construction site. Keith David is aware that he's just after, you know, going on a killing spree. And then later shows up, he tracks him down to give him his wages. And he's like, hey man, this is all I could get. Happy killing. And then, like you said, completely believes it. It's just like, There is a stage in all of those sequences where he did not stop for 1 second. It's like, okay, I am assisting a mass murderer here right now. Am I not an accessory to this crime? Even before he realizes there's aliens or interdimensional
like
beings.
Because Keith David knows he'd just be Rowdy. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, Rowdy. I was like, doop de doop de doop, that's Rowdy.
God, there so much could have been like, you know, you could have overlooked so much if that kind of chimed in every now and again. Oh, this scene is so ridiculous. That's Rowdy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Do you remember that in Robot Chicken?
Yeah.
We're like, oh, that's Bane. And he's like, oh, man, don't do it. Don't do it again, man. Please no. Man, don't do it. And he's like, breaks his back. But, so like, so Rowdy Piper enlists Keith David, you know, who's obviously lost his mind from the events of the thing. And immediately jumps on board because he's like, well, I saw it when Outpost 31. Yeah. It's like, I'll believe anything. And so Childs gets this like, so he gets Childs in, and because Childs is obviously suffering PTSD from the events of the thing, becomes like immediately like Roddy Piper's follower / buddy / lover. Like, so they go to this like hostel or like, you know, a hotel or whatever the fuck, like a halfway house kind of place, and they check in, and Roddy Piper goes in. He's like, I think it'd be a good time to brood. I think this would be a really good time to brood. He's like, Keith David's going to go get some shopping, and I'm going to go brood for a while.
Oh my God, you're totally overlooking the monologue that we were given by Rowdy Piper.
That's what I'm talking about. He goes brooding on the bed.
And I'm Daddy's little boy no more.
Yeah, oh man. Like, I bet you Roddy Piper was like, when he was saying this monologue, he's like, John, I don't want to say be too big headed, but I'm going to start writing my Oscar speech right now. Like, I want him to use that clip, first of all. Right, that's first of all. Second of all, I'm wearing a kilt. At the ceremony, I'm wearing a kilt because Rowdy be Rowdy.
Yeah, Rowdy be Rowdy.
Rowdy be Rowdy. So, Roddy Piper like does one of the most beautiful soliloquies ever. like beautiful monologue, just like reaches into your soul, takes it out, and never returns it again. You know what I mean? It was that beautiful. Landmark acting, screenplay top notch. Like the way it was shot, poetic. You know what I mean? Like everything hit me in a way that I was not only not prepared for, but not able to maintain. You know what I mean? Like literally, like it got my heart, squeezed it so much, released it, and I was a whole new person.
These are all the emotions that I felt also.
You know, this is what I'm talking about. This is landmark movie making. This is what I'm talking about. Like, you know what I mean?
You can only be described as explosive acting.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, it was Roddy Piper's Hamlet moment. It was his to be or not to be. Like, I'm not a little boy anymore, Daddy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Oscar. You know what I'm saying? That's how you make movies, people. That's how it is done. You know, you get Roddy Piper, you just give him the camera. You let him chew up the scenery, and he's going to digest it, and you're going to digest it, and it's going to be a steady diet until the movie completes. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. You know
that
what I mean?
Scene made me kind of think, it kind of made me wonder how much of this movie was shot in one take. Like, how many scenes were done? We're just like, that's it. We fucking got it.
That was Roddy Piper saying that.
I fucking nailed that, John. Next scene.
It's like, take two. Rowdy be Rowdy. He don't do no second takes. Give me that coke. Allegedly, starting to chew the bagpipes. Allegedly, he's a good man. Rest in peace. We all love Roddy Piper over here.
Roddy
Legend. So Roddy Piper, like, you know, breaks our hearts, and Keith David runs into someone outside, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's collecting his errands. He's doing some shopping, exploring the new world that he's been introduced to, and then we're reintroduced to a character from the beginning of the movie who was kind of like
greasy.
You knew there was something wrong with him, but you didn't know what it was, and now suddenly he's the oracle for answers here. He's going to explain what's going down, why it's going down, what's happening, and the next scene.
He's the information character. Like, there's always an information character in these movies.
Oh, there has to be. I'd also like to point out, at this point of the movie, we're an hour deep, and there is less than 30 minutes screen time. So we've seen, a bit of story, a crazy rampage, excellent fight, and now it's established. We have our protagonists, we have our buddy cop set up. We've just been introduced to the information guy. Let's go. Let's roll on with this movie.
Yeah, and then you're looking at it, and you're like, how the fuck are they going to wrap this story up in 30 minutes?
Absolutely.
Like literally, like I actually checked twice, like after this, because I was like, okay, he's only after getting introduced to it now. There must be an hour left in this movie, and I checked it, and I was like, that can't be right. And
you know what's even crazier about that? Like, just to kind of elaborate on that a bit more. Jump to the next scene where we're meeting all these people that know about it, which is like another 5-10 minute scene. And then like they established a plan, and you're like, holy shit, there's 15 minutes left. 15 20 minutes left. It's like, how the fuck are they going to fit in everything that they've established that they need to do in the last bit of this movie? This is where I feel like, they're off their face on coke. They're writing this movie.
Allegedly.
It's allegedly. They're allegedly taking all this cocaine up the nose, in the mouth, whatever.
Injecting it in the right balls, whatever.
They've wrote in this epic screenplay, which runs now at 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And they realize, shit, we've only got half an hour left. We need to get this. We need to resolve this story right now.
Yeah. They're like, Mr. Carpenter, we have a couple $100,000 left in the budget. We can either extend the movie by 15 minutes or we can, bring the guy, and he's like, yeah, get the guy in here because Rowdy be rowdy and he needs his marching powder.
Yeah.
So like I think these characters have been introduced probably about 20 minutes previously. Like you could have 5 minutes of Rowdy Piper walking around Los Angeles instead of 20. And these characters could be introduced way quicker, and we could have really built to the finish instead of it like just being thrown together so fast at the end.
Well, it seems like a crazy shame, especially for John Carpenter, because when he does sci-fi, it is fucking really entertaining. It's like a very linear story. It like gradually builds pace to like the crescendo then of like what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Whereas like I feel like
suspense.
The first hour of this movie could have been done in the first 10-15 minutes, and then you could have concentrated far more on the fact that they now know what's going on.
Yeah.
Let's devise a plan. Let's do something. It fails. We'll do something else. Might fail. Then we go to the big finish. Yeah. Instead, it's just like,
you could have had you could have even, instead of him being just a drifter, because like you could have just had him maybe being a part of the society, or he could have been a conspiracy minded or something, you know what I mean? You could have had him being a bit more crazy, that he believes it quickly, because the quickness and how he believes it is insane. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, I'm gonna kill everybody now. Like, this movie would have made way more sense if Roddy Piper was just insane and Keith David was also insane, and he just made him share his delusion, and they were just killing innocent people. That's how this should have been. This movie should have been, in my opinion. And there should have been like a twist ending where you find out he's just like a mass murderer that's convinced this other mentally unstable guy to join him in his crimes. You know what I mean? Like, that would have been a much better movie. Like, but John Carpenter's a legend. So they get inducted into the Underground Hall of Fame.
They've now been upgraded from sunglasses to contact lenses.
Yeah. Like, there's so much like ground covered in the last 20 minutes. It's insane. Like, there's an hour's worth of storytelling told in the last 20 minutes of the movie. Like,
yeah, and like they never really touch on how they've developed technology to like see aliens or interdimensional beings. It's like
Catholic Church money, motherfucker.
Yeah, it seems like that. It's like, okay, so we've got this like super advanced technology that we're going to cram into these cheapy like sunglasses.
Yeah,
we're never going to tell you anything else about it, and we have no other technology.
Yeah, like, when this movie being amazing if it was the Catholic Church versus interdimensional aliens.
Oh my god! But
like,
then again, you know,
like a new take on The Exorcist, where it's like they're actually not like possessed by demons; they're just interdimensional aliens. And I think you're like, you're trying to get it, like, you see, you're looking at them, they think they're demons because they perceive it through the religious faith. Like, actually, John was telling me about this, John O'Reilly, that like Signs was initially supposed to be based around, Mel Gibson is like a preacher, former preacher, and his wife died, and like it was supposed to be initially based around them not being aliens, but they were supposed to be demons from hell. And he was supposed and it makes so much more sense because you're talking about a religious man that's lost his faith, and he was supposed to confront the actual existence. It's very similar to The Exorcist in a lot of ways, because is it Father, what's his name? Shit. What's his name? It's like your mother's here with me. Oh, fuck, what's his name? So like, yeah, it's kind of like similar to The Exorcist, where they're like a priest has lost faith and he had to come to terms with the existence of heaven and hell and all this kind of shit. But it was changed to aliens, and that's why I think the water was supposed to hurt them, because like holy water or some shit, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, Father Karras. Thank you. Yeah, so Father Karras in The Exorcist, who's lost faith. Because remember, I love that movie. He's like, your mother's here with me, Karras. Fucking love that movie, man. It's like a movie that I came to late, like in my late teens, early 20s, the first time I've ever really seen it. Like, and I was always a massive horror fan, but the older I've gotten, the more and more I've watched it. I normally watch it every couple of years now. I watched the sequels again recently, and a lot of people enjoyed the third movie, but I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was...
I don't think I've seen anything past the first one, and I think the last time I've seen it, I think I was like 20, maybe 21.
It's so disappointing with a lot of horror franchises back in the day that the legendary movies are never followed up by worthy sequels. You know what I mean? Like The Omen, like fucking Poltergeist, like fucking, what were we talking about there a second ago? The Exorcist.
I did, just to go back there for a second with The Omen. I actually did enjoy the third one with Sam Neill.
You were wrong, but like, that's cool.
No, I didn't say it was a good movie. I just said I enjoyed it.
I know. Just joking. Let's be clear though, right? Ger Boyce's opinions are his own. And we over here, potty snatchers, do not share. Well, they could. Carol and Noel made like Omen 3. They would also be wrong. I know. Like, I actually, it's funny though, because when you grow up and you see a lot of these, like you watch The Omen or The Exorcist, there's like years and years and years before you'll ever see the sequels.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I never seen the Omen sequence until like 5 or 6 years ago, or maybe 8 or 9 years ago. First time I'd seen the Omen sequence, like, you know what I mean? I'd seen the first one ages ago. Fucking that music when the dog's on it scares the shit out of me. But so going back to the movie, so like so what we did was, there, because there's like very little left, we gave you 5 minutes of nonsensical content.
Yeah. I also just would like to elaborate on the Catholic Church kind of side of it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Movie idea. If they had the interdimensional, beings, and the reason the church were involved, you could have had a twist ending that Jesus was one of them. That when he died, he actually didn't die. He just went back to his different dimension because his wrist thingy broke.
Yeah.
Came back on the Sunday and then like infiltrated the Catholic Church. That could have been the surprise ending.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Like, oh man. Like, we're gonna have the Catholic Church coming after you, boys. Yeah, you're probably too old for them anyway. Yeah. You're probably too old for them. Allegedly. Not really, because we know.
It's never too old.
Yeah. So Keith David, Roddy Piper, they're introduced this underground network that are combating these interdimensional beings. As you said, they get upgraded from sunglasses to contact lenses. They immediately, once again, trust that these people that look like, they live like underground, like literally underground. Like, these people nearly look subterranean in nature. But they immediately believe that, like, yeah, it's cool, we'll stick this thing in her eye because this woman at a table, like, it looks like she's at a bake sale. She's like, you know what I mean? So they get upgraded, and as soon as they get upgraded, if I'm not mistaken, once again, seemingly the cops in LA in this place believe in blitzkrieg attacks, and they're like, and they just like lay waste to the building that the fucking freedom fighters of humanity are hiding away in.
Which is what I think is funny about that scene, because this is where we're reintroduced to Meg Foster, who randomly shows up with the sunglasses. Not only does she randomly show up, she shows up in a way that you're kind of thinking is like, she knows something because she is displaying absolutely no fucking emotion. And Roddy Piper just slinks over to her like some sleazy pervert. And then cue 30 seconds later and the fucking place is like explosion out of nowhere. And like you said then, you know, the military force that is the LAPD
There's like,
just lays fucking waste to this warehouse.
It's like there's 15 people in there. Okay, send in everyone. It's like, what do you mean, sir? I mean everyone. You know what I mean? Like,
and like, did you notice as well, right? Because obviously I didn't pay too much attention to the earlier scenes where he has the gun.
Yeah.
But he does that whole like fucking John Rambo aim with the gun where he holds it out to his side and balances himself with the arm.
Yeah,
and then just like fires wildly while like
man, that's the good old fashioned spray and pray, man.
Oh, God. It was like it's such a telltale like or not telltale, it was like such a common scene in 80s movies. You couldn't not have it in this.
It's like punch shooting. It's like they're punching the air with the gun. They're like punching the bullet at like their target, which would make no sense because, you know, and like the thing is, I love about the 80s movies that everybody shot their guns one-handed. Like I watched the Predator movies back a while ago. I watched them all the time. Love those fucking movies. But the first movie, I love some of those fucking movies. But like the first movie when Arnold Schwarzenegger, there's a part where they're going through the jungle, and he's got this gigantic gun, and he just starts like he's not only is he carrying it, like he just like, you know, when you carry a gun, you're supposed to aim it downwards, right? And a lot of the early movies are aiming it up. You're supposed to aim it down, right? He's walking around with just in his hand like this, like as if it was just like so he could like he's like, and the whole way through the movie he never puts two hands on a machine gun.
Yeah,
and he's got an assault rifle, and he's just like. Man, Schwarzenegger's just like, no, you got to hold it two-handed. Like, are the muscles? I don't need two hands. You know what I mean? The worst Arnold Schwarzenegger.
We see that's the whole point of those movies. It's just like that these action heroes are like so fucking burly and like, you know, hardy that like we don't like there are no kickback. Like there's no kickback from this gun.
Yeah, even if there is, they won't feel it because their arms are so big.
But not even that. It's just like, oh, there's kickback. My body has absorbed it, and I'm going to shoot it back out through this gun.
And he's like, and he's just like making that noise because his body's absorbing the kickback.
Oh my
God! And so Rowdy Piper and his cohorts are like pretty much nearly wiped out to the last man, except for Rowdy Piper, Keith David.
We should also, sorry for cutting across you, we should also just kind of jump in here and highlight the fact, because this is a plot device at the end of all this mayhem. He gets a watch that actually turns out to be
one of the interdimensional creatures watching.
Yeah, like he has one of those and just like it's not working initially, so you have to try figure it out. Yeah. I don't understand how there's only one button on the fucking watch.
It's like it's a watch winded.
Yeah, and then like we cut to the chase scene then where like he's you know, all this is happening, but like, you know, then we cue to like the next scene.
Right, so before we run into the final finish, we go to a quick break, and you want to go to a quick break?
Yeah, be right back.
All right, cool. We'll be right back. See you in a few minutes, folks.
From John Carpenter. They control what you see.
We have been lulled into a trance.
They decide what you hear.
Wake up! They're all about you, all around you.
You think they're people, just like you.
What do these things want, and why are they here?
You're wrong. Dead wrong. John Carpenter's They Live. Rated R. Starts Friday, November 4th at theaters everywhere.
And we're back from the break. I'm your host, Vincent Green. This is Invasion of Potty Snatchers. I'm still here with Ger Boyce. Hello, Boyce.
Hello, everyone.
All right. So the last time we left you, we were running into the climax of the 1988 classic, I guess. Directed by John Carpenter, starring Roddy Piper and Keith David. That's They Live. The story about a drifter who picked up sunglasses and one day seen interdimensional beings and totally threw himself right into the conspiracy head first, because rowdy be rowdy.
Yeah.
So when we left you, they were after fighting the underground, you know, freedom fighters. They just got wiped out. The police had just like, you know, goose-stepped their way right through their facility, laid waste to the whole place. The survivors scattered, and we're joined with Roddy Piper, Keith David. Is the girl with them? The woman? She's not with them, isn't she? Not.
No, because like it's that whole thing. She shows up fucking randomly, and
Yeah.
like, well, you know what? It's bizarre is that like no one is kind of like suspicious of her. She just randomly shows up with glasses, and then it's just
She's like sup.
yeah. Then Roddy Piper just kind of like, oh hey, I need to say hello to someone. Go over,
Yeah.
and then like yeah, after that initial explosion where like you said, they goose stepped their way into like the factory. Like
Yeah.
she just disappears from that scene. Like she's not seen again.
Yeah, she's like literally blown to safety, like out of the building to another place entirely. She's like she was blown to a different scene.
Loaded into a better movie.
Yeah. Has there been a better movie made than this? Yes, there
I don't
has.
know. Definitely the best movie I watched today.
And so Rowdy Piper and Keith David run away, and they've taken this watch they were given earlier on, this malfunctioning interdimensional watch that belongs to one of these creatures from another parallel universe, whatever the fuck. And when they run down an alleyway or some shit, and is there like a scuffle or something because the watch falls on the ground?
So when we get to the alleyway scene, there is one of the most, I don't know, like most uncoordinated fucking shootout scenes I've seen like in a long time in a movie, where like there seems to be an endless supply of enemies, and you know, Roddy Piper and Kurt Daniels, what's his name?
Keith David. You were thinking Kurt Russell, weren't you, in the back of your head? Man, amount of times I've paused before saying Roddy Piper's name because I think I'm going to say Kurt Russell. It's the fucking mullet, man, you put in my head.
Yeah, and plus as well, your fucking background isn't helping that glorious mullet.
Look at this, man, this guy. Look, I've got barely any hair. I've got a mullet. Look at that. That's how you line up a background.
It's such a seamless transition
to like most of this movie, I guess.
So yeah, like I mean, there's just like a ridiculous amount of fucking enemies shooting at these two guys.
Yeah.
Roddy Piper has a couple of scenes where it's just him in the John Rambo pose with the gun and the crazy eyes screaming.
Yeah.
"Ah!"
Yeah.
And like
Rowdy
there's just a
Rambo.
fucking rainstorm of bullets coming down on him. I don't think he manages to get hit once, but yeah, he kills about half a dozen people.
Yeah, like man, he's like Wyatt Earp. Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like he if he was wearing a trench coat, you'd just see bullet holes all in the trench coat, and he's like magically unharmed. Like you know what I mean? But
And half expecting him to like catch a fucking bullet in his mouth and then spit it back at him.
oh, Rowdy!
Yeah. He did it again.
It's like if you were in Kevlar. No, I'm Roddy Piper. So like there's a shootout with the police. They escape. They get down an alleyway. This fucking watch falls on the ground. This malfunctioning watch. And then all of a sudden, a signal or a voice starts coming out of it. And it's like this woman, she's like, your watch or your device is malfunctioning. You have 10 seconds to return home or some bullshit. And the countdown starts happening. And Roddy Piper, being a good friend, goes to Keith David, you jump in there. You know what I mean? Like, and then like Roddy Piper's like, well, if it doesn't cut him in half, I'll maybe follow him in there. And so Keith David jumps in, like, you know, obviously apprehensive, like as you would be. Like, you know. And Keith David jumps in this fucking wormhole or whatever the fuck. And Roddy Piper jumps in right after him as the police, I think, are closing in on the count of one. And all of a sudden they're in this like underground facility or some shit. And they realize that there's like a voice, like an announcer, intercom over, like saying the same thing. Like, if you're in this level or some shit, you'll read the instructions at the end of every hall or something, or bilingual or some bullshit like this. And they find like alien, it looks like alien language on the walls, and they're kind of, you know, going throughout the facility, and this like secret facility has the worst security of all time. Yeah.
Oh my god, we got him. We won the battle. We got him. Let's run away and celebrate.
Yeah.
While the other two sneak by.
Yeah, like pure Scooby Doo. It's like Jinkies.
Yeah.
Zoinks, nada.
Yeah. Like how did this like, you know, race of like whatever they are like take over the planet in this movie? Like they're so inept. And like how many of them have died trying to capture two people?
Like,
you know what I mean?
Like scores of them. Like a legion of interdimensional creatures has been wiped out by Roddy Piper since the start of this movie.
Yeah, it's like Roddy Piper, like the Messiah or something, like for humankind.
Well, Jesus did have a magnificent mullet himself.
He did.
Yeah,
To be fair, he did.
hallowed be thy name. Hallowed be thy mullet.
If you can pull it off, then you are worthy of that title.
If you can pull it, wear a mullet.
Exactly.
So, Roddy Piper and Keith David start going through this facility that's like the worst guarded ever, right? And they go through to get past the security guards. They Scooby-Doo right past them. Walk straight, like they hear voices, like something's going on, and they walk straight in. Like these are supposed to, like I think the guy describes them as the human power elite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like they have no security. Like no, they just walk straight in to like this like gala or some bullshit that's going on, and just stand there as your man makes a speech, and they have just their contact lenses on, so they can see who's alien and who's human, and they can see that there's this like underground cabal. The internet was right, controlling the world, and they're dealing with these like other creatures from another dimension or some bullshit. What you make of the scene where it was kind of like, I think it was, is it actually in Citizen Kane where he has that big speech and he has the thing behind him?
So yeah.
Did you think they were trying to, like, I know we were joking about Citizen Kane earlier, you were, but do you think they were kind of trying to convey a similar style where your man was up on the podium and when they could see the big obey sign behind him? That's the kind of
Maybe. I think if I'm being perfectly honest, I think we might be giving them too much credit for like, planning this like homage to like, arguably one of the greatest films ever made.
Yeah, like Citizen Kane. This movie's more like Citizen Cocaine.
Yeah, like I feel like at this point we're at like peak coke, output.
Peak alleged coke usage.
Yeah.
But
it's like, it's kind of like you were saying, it's kind of ridiculous like how shitty the security is. Like that two guys randomly show up to this thing with guns in their belts. They come in, fold their arms, look totally out of place, and then some guy comes in and just like, "Oh hey, you guys got in, yeah?" It's like, "Didn't dress for the occasion." Yeah, I didn't dress for the occasion. Do you want me to show you around? Yes, please.
That's the dude we were talking about before we came back on here. That's the homeless dude, isn't it? I think it's the homeless dude because they mention like within the year, everyone that has cooperated with the aliens or interdimensional creatures, whatever, have had their net worth increased by 39%. Right, and if this guy's homeless, if his net worth is increased by 39%. I'm pretty sure that would not put him shoulder to shoulder with the human power elite of the world. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like if we're getting into semantics,
he'd have $39.
I was even going to say he'd have zero. Like, so if you're homeless and have nothing, and that increased by 39%, 39 by nothing is nothing. Just say it.
But no, this is not how John Carpenter understands maths. Who's a legend? we're just jibing here, people.
John, I love you.
So the homeless dude who's now turned full Trading Places. He's like Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. He's got like a suit.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah.
So he's like he's come good. He's cooperation with the aliens. He's trying to. Now this is where they're trying to win them over. Come with us is the kind of like we're here for the betterment of humanity. Is pretty much like this is what this whole scene is about, and it's like, and so the speech is over. The man gives his speech, and then he leads. Is it the homeless dude or is it the guy that was giving the speech that leads?
Roddy Piper. It's the homeless guy because he kind of shimmies up to him and is just like, "Oh, you got in, blah blah blah. You didn't dress for the occasion." He's just like,
so you bring him on the tour.
Yeah, because he asks, it's just like, "Have you seen the place before?" And he's like, "No." And then he's like, "I'll give you the grand tour." And then there's like, "Yeah," and like, what can only be described as like one of the like worst acted scenes ever. They're walking down a corridor. They're walking down a corridor, right? And then all of a sudden, your man stops. Both of the other actors, Roddy Piper and Keith Daniels.
Keith David.
Where the fuck am I getting Daniels from?
Like, it wouldn't be so bad if you were saying Kurt David or something. Yeah.
So Keith David and Roddy Piper, they're clearly there, and your man just stops and he's looking directly, kind of like they're standing here and like they're off to the side, and your man is like, oh, have you seen this yet? And then like he turns his head about an inch. I was like, oh my god, space.
So like pretty much paint the picture. So like I was going to call him Kurt David. Damn you. You've incepted me.
Exactly.
But yeah, so Keith David and Roddy Piper are showing the Grand Tour, as you said, and they're like, your man brings him to this room where it's like space is on the window, and this is an underground facility. Like, might I add, clearly, like unless they've got teleported to a spaceship, which did happen. You know what I mean? And so we see people walking over to this like pod or like a platform, and they start getting shot across space with the same kind of subtlety as Doom. You know what I mean? It's like they got like shot out across space. It's like they're being sent to Jupiter or some bullshit.
Yeah, there's some blue fucking planet in front of him that one gets shot at, and then the other guy gets shot the total opposite fucking direction.
He's like, oh, we didn't like that guy.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, there's other planets, so there's a whole fucking web of like, you know, these people trying to take over.
Yeah, like this probably should have been information we were given an hour into the movie.
Oh my god, like this is what I'm saying. Like you could have had. So let's rewind and go back to the start. Everything that's happened from the start up to this point could have been condensed into the first 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah,
now, I know we'd lose out on like that epic fight scene and you know that amazing rampage that he goes on. But, you know, compromise.
Like I just think like if this movie needed that and it needed more Roddy Piper walking around Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like I think he was like, my character's a drifter, so I need him to drift a lot. He needs to drift around a lot. You know what I mean? But so like we see people getting shot out across space, and Roddy Piper and Keith David are like, you know, what the fuck, as are we all? You know what I mean? Like, we're like, okay. And so this is where this movie's going, I guess. Like, you know, and the thing is, it could have gone any other direction, and you would have just went, "Oh, this is where this movie's going." I guess, you know, I would have believed any ending at this stage. You know what I mean? Like,
this as well. It's like I don't know. Maybe I'm like deep diving into this too much, like, but
or not enough.
Yeah, I don't know. But it goes from like they're interdimensional species, or whatever. And like then they kind of go lean towards the narrative like, oh no, well they're just aliens that like took over, you know, a random planet. It's like, you know, pick a fucking niche. Like they can either be like this or that.
Do you think they meant interstellar instead of interdimensional and they just got mixed up?
Shit, he messed up his life. Yeah. We don't have enough money to go back.
Whereas like Rowdy's not doing any more takes. I guess they're interdimensional. But we have the finale shot. It doesn't matter. So like so Roddy Piper and Keith David. All right. Is this where pretty much hell breaks loose in?
Yeah, so this is where like the next part after this. So obviously that scene happens, and then we're brought to like where they're introduced to like, you know, the brains of the operation.
Yeah,
you know, random, you know, or what's the fucking word I'm looking for? I don't know. Stock 80 shot of like, you know, computers, machines, people operating random levers and switches.
Yeah.
This is the brains of the operation.
Like your generic shot.
Thank you. And then we're brought then to like your man shows him like, you know, the newsroom with the army guy who's guarding it.
Yeah, because they're like sending a signal out. This, I think we might. There's pretty much they're sending the signal out through this TV station, this one TV station. These are like the most haphazard invaders of all time. So like, oh, do you know this signal we're using to control the world? Let's just send it out from one spot, and that'll cover the globe, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Like, you know, Los Angeles has never had an earthquake. It'll be fine. You know what I mean? It'd be cool. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, so they're sending the signal out to control the world, and Keith David and what's his face, Roddy Piper, have like this kind of like the what's called exposition dump, where just give us all the information of their plan and how they're doing it. The kind of things you never disclose. You know what I mean? Like, this is our plan.
The shittiest villains ever.
Yeah, like this is our plan. This is how we implement it. This is how you destroy us. No, not that button. The button to the button to the left. That's how
I'll push it.
Yeah, the button marked genocide. That's how you wipe us out. Not the button to the right. Jesus, that's how you order coffee, guy. You know what I mean? This fuck's sake. But yeah, so they pretty much tell him everything about them, and nearly whip out a book with the genealogy and start fucking going through family trees. And so they, Roddy Piper and Keith David, they escape or like.
So basically, what happens next is after all of the details are, revealed, and they're like, okay, we know how to beat them, we know where to go. Now we just need to get there. So they kill the two soldiers guarding the TV station.
Yeah.
Or the studio, I should say.
Yeah.
No one reacts to all this gunfire.
I remember because
then it's like, oh, this is soundproof.
Yeah, like what's Roddy Piper's character's background that he could just knock on glass and know it's soundproof?
Yeah. And then like your man disappears, like he fucking hits his button like with that, oh, gotta go, or whatever the fuck he says.
Yeah. So the news report, they take over the news station now or some shit. Like, why is the end so foggy to me?
Yeah, because like it kind of all like, because we're at the crescendo now, where like shit is gonna happen. We're at the end part. So like after they kill the soldiers, they get the weapons, and they're just like, they know where they need to go. They need to go to the roof. So now they're making their way through the building, and panic ensues. People are trying to like call the guards, trying to call security, and like get them fucking done. At this point, then. I can't remember if there's some shooting that happens here. A couple of soldiers here, a couple of soldiers there.
They're running up and down stairs at some stage.
Yeah, because like he asked some girl who's like calling security, is like, oh, how do I get to the roof? And it's like, oh, the lift or whatever. It's called. And then they go, and then like he pulls Keith David to the side. He's like, or no, they go into a staircase, and it was like, there's more than one way to get to the roof. Like they go upstairs.
Like they're shocked by this.
Yeah. And then like what happens then? Yeah, so then there's obviously like some shootouts then, the shoulders. Soldiers are trying to get them, whatever. And then like, there's a shot then where like they're obviously making their way up, and like they're on the 19th floor. Yeah. And there's a shot then of like officers on the 21st floor. It's like, oh, we're on the 21st, they're on the 19th. We'll wait for them.
Is this like, or they just go up to who? Like, does Keith David make it to the roof, or Keith David? Yeah, that's his name. Yeah, I'm you.
I've shown the scene.
Now the real name doesn't even seem real anymore.
Yeah. So after all this kind of commotion, we're reintroduced to Meg Foster again.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Yeah, like who like throughout all of this as well, she just like nonchalantly just like goes with him. It's like, we gotta get to the roof. And then this is where we kind of get to like, the dying moments of this movie, where we get to the stairwell. Roddy Piper takes out three officers, and makes his way up, and then Keith David's about to go, and then we see the gun coming up to the back of the head.
Oh yeah.
And then we say, "Good night, sweet prince. You will not be returning home to your family."
It's Keith David died, does he? He does.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I forgot.
Shoots him.
Oh yeah, she's turncoat. Yeah.
You know what? You know what's mad, right? She gives off the vibe that she's an alien because she's so fucking creepy and intense, and like there's no real acting there. It's just kind of like, this person's weird. I don't know why. Are they good or are they bad or are they just weird?
Yeah.
And like I don't ever think it's established if she's like, a human or a fucking,
No, she must be human because he would have seen through his contact lenses if she was alien or not.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
She must just be crazy then.
Yeah, I think she's just one of the human power elite.
Yeah. Clearly.
And so like, yeah, she shoots Keith David. I totally forgot about that. And spoiler alert, guys. Yeah. And she shoots Keith David, and what's his face? Roddy Piper has a gun, doesn't he? And he like goes like to hell with it or some shit, and he shoots the transformer.
Oh no! So we're missing like the kind of the standoff.
Go ahead.
So he gets to like he's on the roof. He gets to it. He sees the dish.
Yeah.
He gets up to it. He sees the thing through his lenses. There's like this fucking like really shitty light bulb that's like going through like
I forgot about that.
And like he's about to aim his gun, and then like he shouts back. He's like, "Hey Frank or Keith David, whatever your name is." And then your one child is like, "Oh, he didn't make it," or some fucking nonsense, and he's got the gun. Then like the choppers pull around and he's like, "Freeze, we're gonna fucking fire, whatever."
Yeah.
And then your one says, "Drop the gun, it's over." So he drops it, turns around, puts his hand down his pants, pulls out the smaller gun,
I actually forgot about that.
turns around, shoots it. I can't remember. Does he kill your one? Or like what actually fucking happens to her?
Man, I believe she's probably like interdimensional. You know what I mean? Like she's just got one of them watches on and she just like just drops through the floor every time.
Yeah. And then like obviously Rowdy Piper goes down in a glorious hail of bullets. And like the final, the final moment of sheer brilliance from Rowdy Piper, he flips the bird at the dish as the signal begins to drop. And then we cut to scenes where like obviously the illusion's over.
Yeah, and humanity has been freed by Rowdy Piper.
They're waking up to the fact that, whatever. I was trying to work the name of the title in there, but
yeah, no, the tagline is "They live, we sleep," or some bullshit.
Yeah, mine probably would have been worse than that. So I'm glad I didn't try to go
or
with
would
that.
it been? But total side note though, like why are the security guards wearing camouflage?
Yeah,
They're indoors.
What's the fucking deal with those like walkie-talkies with the little rubber bands and the lights?
Oh man, what
every time they run, they like bounce up and down.
Man, what other movie? I'm pretty sure that's a fucking that's a prop from another movie. Like I'm nearly 100% sure I seen communicators in another movie where it was like identical to them, and like I'm
like
gonna probably
every 80 sci-fi movie.
I'm gonna be obsessed now until I find it or until I forget about it in 10-15 minutes time.
Yeah. If only you had a device where you could ask a question and find out.
Nah, it never happened. Never happened. Technology never be achieved.
Yeah, that's witchcraft.
So like after putting you through the torment that was They Live, and it was I wasn't expecting this movie to be what it was. It was fucking insane. What do you think of it overall?
Overall, I mean, in terms of like John Carpenter's works,
yeah,
it's probably not his best. I've definitely enjoyed it more than other John Carpenter movies.
Yeah.
Don't really understand the rating like that it got. Like it got like a fucking 7.5 on IMDb.
Yeah,
like
it's
78% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm just curious if it's just the case that like
novelty.
Is this one of those movies that's just so ridiculously bad it's good? Like, and not even like, oh, that's a good movie. It's just it's so entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Because it's such a pile of shit.
It's definitely unique.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy as well, right? Is that like if you were to pitch that now, like, or if you were to hear the tagline to that movie now, with CGI what it is, and like the quality of TV or movies that are being churned out at the moment, you kind of look at that and be like, as long as they don't kind of fucking go, right on the nose with like the social commentary.
Yeah.
This is actually a pretty, cool idea for a fucking sci-fi movie.
Oh yeah, or even a TV series. It'd be really cool. Like,
yeah.
Someone gets the ability to see these interdimensional beings that are controlling the world on a secret level or whatever. That actually could be cool. Like, and as I said, I never read the short novel that it's based on. It's called. I'll tell you now. I said it earlier. I think it's called 8 o'clock in the morning or some shit. Oh shit. Sorry now. Right. Yeah, it's called 8 o'clock in the morning by Ray Nelson. I've never read it. I might scope it out though because I say the book is probably going to be better than the movie. It's probably like super short, but I'd say it's probably better. See if I can find it on Amazon or some bullshit. But so would you recommend this movie, Boyce?
I would recommend this movie, but only if you're watching it with other people to laugh at relentlessly. Yeah. I think like I know I was texting you during it, and I was 10 minutes ahead, so it probably. I still laughed a lot at it by myself. I feel like if you're there with a group of people, you'd probably laugh a lot louder.
Yeah.
Will I watch this again? Probably not. But, it was entertaining for what it was.
I could definitely say I would watch this again. Because I'm a glutton for punishment that way. But I would definitely watch this movie again because I could not believe what it was. And that I hadn't seen it before. Like, I was just like... How have I not seen this? I love John Carpenter's movies. I've seen the majority of them, if not nearly all of them. Like, majority and nearly all is pretty much the same thing.
But you know what kind of blows my mind about this, right? Is that you explained earlier that this is like, post the thing. So like, John Carpenter, like throughout the 80s, even into the 90s as well, he worked with like some pretty good actors in their own right.
Yeah.
Like really talented actors. And yeah, Roddy Piper got leading man in a John Carpenter movie.
Yeah.
That's just like
John Carpenter that had made Halloween, made The Fog, made The Thing at this stage. You know what I mean? Like, he made Halloween 2. He's like in the peak of his powers.
Did he do Big Trouble in Little China as well?
Yeah. When was that? Was that the 90s or the 80s?
No idea. I want to say the 80s.
But like, it's definitely not one of John Carpenter's strongest works. But like, do you think this was what you call it, the kind of like the start of the decline? Actually, no, Big Trouble. Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China was 1986. So like, you had like an 8-year period where he made Halloween, Halloween 2, The Fog, The Thing, Big Trouble in China. Like, unfortunately, this was the start of maybe a little bit of the decline, or I don't know, maybe there was a little less trust in him or something, because he got like a $3 million budget after he's making all those movies. Maybe this was a passion project. Maybe ready, but I don't know. Like, this, it's strange to think like John Carpenter and the idea, the premise of this movie, and the fact that like, yes, Roddy Piper, who said, it makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, like it definitely, you definitely get the vibe, right? I know allegedly there's no coke involved. I think realistically there was a lot of cocaine involved, and something happened between John Carpenter and Roddy Piper that John Carpenter owed Roddy Piper a favor. His favor was to make this passion project. They live.
So do you think it's Roddy Piper's passion project?
God, there's a part of me that does, just for how fucking mental it is. But who fucking knows? Like, John Carpenter, the crazy genius that he is.
So you say you wouldn't go back and watch it. I'll definitely go back and watch it because I
won't watch it by myself.
Yeah.
If I was to watch it again, it would to be with other people, because then I feel like I'd laugh more at it, especially now that I've seen it, and I can be like, oh my God, they don't know what's coming up here. This is going to be hilarious.
Oh man, like as I said, I'm surprised I'd never seen it before, but I'll definitely go back and watch it again. But like, do you have any more thoughts on this, or will we let they live, I guess?
I don't know. Like, there's so many things I could talk about, and then so many things I shouldn't talk about. It's just, it kind of left that impression on me. It was just like, you can
tell me off air.
This was his Titanic.
But yeah, so like as like you said, and as we were talking earlier, I think this movie is definitely overrated, and I'm just shocked to see the ratings it got on IMDb, and you said what, 73% fresh.
Yeah, it was definitely in the 70 percentile
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes. I think Metacritic gave it 55%, which is probably a more accurate.
Yeah, I was thinking, it's like a 5 out of 10, pretty much.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? It's a
Like,
decent representation
depending
of
on
the
how
genre.
much you laugh at it, I'd say 4 to 5 out of 10.
Yeah, like it really could have been a very like Orwellian movie if they'd have done it correctly, like a very 1984 or something like that. Like, Animal Farm, or you could really could have played with the mind, done a lot of trippy imagery and shit like that. And I think the movie was a missed opportunity, and hopefully, like, because you were saying that, like, that it is ripe for the picking, so maybe somebody will go back in different medium or different skill set, different technology might make it look better. But like, you'll have people going saying like, it's a great movie, but maybe people enjoy it more than we did. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think on paper, like, I mean, when I read about it, I was like, I was legitimately excited. I was like, holy shit, this actually does sound pretty cool, and it's John Carpenter. So
yeah, I actually didn't even know what it was about. I just threw it on, like, you know what I mean?
I probably should have done that.
It didn't help.
But you know what I will say though?
Yeah.
Consistently throughout all John Carpenter's movies, the music is fucking epic. That's one thing I would say. He knows how to score a movie.
Yeah. Do you think did he do the music for this himself?
It was him and another guy. I don't remember who the other guy's name was, but he had that telltale synth, for like building suspense. Like,
yeah, that's one thing this film lacked though, was suspense. That's strange for a John Carpenter movie, like.
Yeah, it's actually a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, it's really like on the nose, the whole film. It's just like, this is what happened. They believe it, and now they're going to investigate. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like it's like the storyline is so far fetched because how quickly the characters believe what's going on. You know what I mean? Like there should have been more of a grace period, but maybe that's why it'd be better on TV than film, because you can kind of build to that. But I presume J.J. Abrams will do it in a few years or something.
Gosh. At least, you know, you'll get some really fucking cool special effects in the
Yeah, it'd be like Westworld or something. It'd be fucking awesome. But yeah, so do you have any more final thoughts on They Live, or we get the fuck out of here?
No, I think we've kind of covered it all. I mean, I don't need to be revisiting earlier points that would lead on to crazy tangents, but I will finish it with this. I'd love to know what his intent was with this. If this is going to be like a serious sci-fi thriller, or like if it's a parody of a sci-fi idea, or like it's like that whole thing. Like, did you know that really shitty movie, The Room, with Tommy Wiseau?
Yeah.
Like, when that was released initially, that was like a proper drama.
Yeah.
It was released as a drama, and then years later he started touring. It's a dark black comedy.
Yeah.
Then he just went, oh, it's a comedy.
Yeah. He just leaned into it after a while.
Yeah, so I kind of wonder if it's kind of like that with this, like if he had a more serious intention with it, or if it just kind of became a parody, you know, while filming.
Yeah, I can see exactly why it has a cult following, because I know it has a cult following. But like, I think it could have been a lot better, and there's a lot of missed opportunities. Wrong lead man for sure. But like, so we just get the fuck out of here. That was like, so this is the Invasion of Potty Snatchers. I'm your host, Vincent Green. That's Boycey. Boycey, say goodbye.
Goodbye, Boycey.
All right, we'll be back next time. This is Invasion of Potty Snatchers. Do you one-stop shop for everything goes chop, chop, chop. Now let's get the fuck out of here. See you next time, folks. I'm your host. Good luck.